Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah.
Welcome to Big Mama's house, y'all. Mama and Papa are here to talk to you about Welcome to Plathville, Season 4, Episode 12.
Hi, y'all.
Just want to say thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you for, choosing us to spend time with.
Thank you.
Yeah, so drop us a note. We want to get to know you too. Say hi and a thank you just for being here if you want.
And subscribe.
Yes, because it's free.
Free.
So this episode starts with Micah. He's back in LA and he is taking Antia on a date, and they're going to a park and they're going to watch the sunset, and he brought wine and a charcuterie board. They all love using charcuterie boards because they learned that word and now it just sounds so fancy.
I have never heard of a charcuterie board. What is it?
It's just a real, it's like a thinner, longer version of
like a Ouija board?
Of a wooden cutting board.
Okay.
It's got a hole at one end. Looks like a very large, thin cutting board. And you arrange like fruits and cheeses and crackers, and it's basically like a big snack on a board.
But then he forgot meat. Oh, he forgot the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did. He forgot the lunch meat in the fridge because he had everything else for the sandwiches but the meat. Yeah. But yeah, he tried so hard, and it was very cute and adorable. It's very Micah. He is a romantic at heart.
Yep.
And I think he likes, even though he spends time with a lot of different ladies, I think he treats every single one like she's the only girl in the world.
That's the way he was raised.
And I think that's kind of dangerous because it's going to leave a lot of broken hearts behind.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of them don't see Micah as the end story. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
They see Micah as the right now.
Maybe it's because they're young and inexperienced and don't see the quality behind the beautiful face.
But see, Micah was raised the way he treats women.
Yeah.
Okay? He's not going to go and he's not going to have one-night stands. I don't believe he's going to have one-night stands.
Well, no, and that's why he was like, I want to, you go on a few dates so you can really kind of see if you vibe with that person, if you get along, and then move on, because you don't want to waste someone else's time or your time if it's not, because even though he doesn't believe in the dating, get married thing, he's not going to date you if he doesn't think that there's a possibility of that down the road. So he's still kind of, and that's kind of everybody, but some people do date someone just to be with someone. You've done it.
What do you mean?
In your past.
Date somebody just to be with somebody?
Yeah.
You mean like one-night stands?
No, date someone just to have someone to be with.
No.
Really? I thought... Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. This isn't the Papa show.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
This is Welcome to Plathville.
My bad. Sorry. Love you. And then she calls him out for not returning her message for weeks. And she kind of teased him about it. And she wasn't like angry and pissy. She was joking.
Yeah.
And he said, and they were talking, and he said he's had 3 relationships. The longest was only 5 months. And that was the one he was going to propose to. 5 months. Which you proposed on our 3rd date.
Yeah.
So we can't really say anything. But
5 months is a long time.
Yeah. And
we got married.
In certain ways it can be, absolutely.
See, it worked out for us because we got married 2 years later.
Yes, right. We didn't rush.
No. But, it obviously, unfortunately for Micah, it did not work out for him.
Well, and even says he was too young.
Yeah.
But the thing that Antia finds very attractive about him is that he doesn't talk shit about his exes. And I don't think he would ever do that. Like, and I don't think that's just part of his character. Like, he would never even think of just shit-talking people.
So maybe he should teach his dad that.
Well, and again, I don't think Barry even sees it as shit-talking. He just thinks of it as, sharing his feelings. But he's doing it in an inappropriate way with his children.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to get a little sippy sip of my coffee Papa made me.
Especially Lydia. I know we're like skipping around or whatever, not on task. But the way he talks to Lydia.
Yeah.
About Kim.
Getting that sympathy vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think somebody put that as emotional incest. Somebody put that on on Facebook. I don't believe it.
Hang on. Okay, y'all, as I have been known to do before, if you are used to us here, I had to do a quick Google because I did not know what that was or
Yeah.
hadn't heard of that before. And according to Psych Central, it seems as though this is more geared toward like more younger children and something that goes on for years because a parent is absent for like the entire youth or whatever. So I don't think it's quite, I think that it could quickly become that if it's not careful.
Yeah, but I don't think Barry.
I think it's more he's campaigning.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, again, that sympathy vote.
I gotta stay off the Facebook pages.
Yeah, yeah.
The social media
Because
pages.
they think they hear something and according to me, and again, I am not a professional. I only hope to be one, and I've spent a long time, researching and learning and doing things, related to our own family. But it doesn't seem to me like that quite meets the criteria because it's only like been a few months since this whole separation thing started at the time,
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
Everybody.
it's an interesting thought because I had never even heard of that before. So it's an
I
interesting.
guess it's something to look into.
And again, if there is a medical professional, a psychological professional who wants to chime in and tell us, hey, yes or no, it does or doesn't, meet those qualifications,
Yeah.
then let us know because I 100% admit I could be wrong, but that's just not
And
the way I'm interpreting it.
I hope I'm just assuming and it's wrong. That's what I'm
Yeah, because that's an awful thing to think
Yes.
about after looking into what it is.
Sorry, back to Micah.
And just for anybody else who is a curious kitten like me, emotional incest syndrome, often called emotional incest, it does not involve physical sexual abuse.
Just emotional.
But yeah, it's also called covert incest. It says it specifically describes the relationship between a child and their parent or primary caregiver and doesn't include siblings or extended family. And rather than taking on the emotional role of parent, children take on the role of partner.
Okay.
So like they treat you like a spouse instead of your child.
Okay.
But not in a sexual way, in
Yeah.
an emotional and
Still, it's not good.
No, it's not. So I don't know if that really meets the qualifications at this point. And again, if it continues on for
Yeah.
years and whatever, absolutely 100%. But again, at this point, the way he does it, like you say, they call it that covertly, the way they kind of slowly wiggle their way in.
Yeah.
That's what he's been doing with these very subtle, the way he phrases things, and it's all very psychologically interesting. It really, really is, as we discussed in other episodes. Sorry about that little divergent there, you guys.
Back to Micah.
Yeah. And they talk about his siblings and parents and their relationship issues. And they both agree that relationships shouldn't be complicated.
Yeah.
And yes and no. I mean, you and I, our relationship is, I'd say, pretty easy
It
now.
shouldn't be too complicated when you're married for so long.
Yeah, but when it's new, those first 2 years,
Oh,
they were rough.
Yeah. But I mean,
And
like,
so everybody shouldn't be prepared to like everything just be, oh, it's all so awesome, it's so easy.
but should it be complicated when you're married for 24 years?
No, I wouldn't think
No, I
so.
wouldn't think so either.
But
Not as complicated as if you were married for only 2 years. Then that gets kind of,
yeah, it's a different kind of complicated. And Micah said he does not want someone controlling, insecure, or entitled. He likes girls with humility and kindness.
And, again, look good.
Well, I mean,
He said that later. Yeah.
Well, he said that it's 50% looks and 50 personality, and of course he wants someone who's hot.
Yeah.
But look at all the different type of girls he's gone out with. So obviously his definition of hot may not be what we think it is.
Yeah, true.
Because he's gone out with girls who weren't exactly like super skinny.
He's gone out with girls that were models.
Yeah, he's gone out, but I mean, so they're laying on the hill and they're just chilling, waiting for the sunset. And she asks him to run Shakespeare lines with her. And they were drinking, or I think mostly she drank a whole bottle of wine before the sun even set. This girl likes to drink.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And that's kind of a red flag for me.
I mean,
If you're getting, if the last 3 times you see someone and they're drunk all 3 times, and not in really places you would expect someone to get drunk, like if you're hanging out in someone else's living room, I wouldn't get drunk.
Unless they were getting drunk.
But they didn't.
But
And
Micah wasn't, yeah.
And because they were with his roommate and his girlfriend, and she's the girlfriend's friend. Remember, that's why they brought her over. And the second time was at a freaking art show.
Yeah.
Sure, it's free booze, but you don't have to get drunk.
I would if it's free.
I don't know.
How else would you get me into an art show? Just say there's free booze. I'm not going for the art.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just not somewhere that you would like fully, like if you're not in a bar, you're not at a club, you're not in
Not at home playing games or doing a podcast.
Well, I mean, if it's drinking night at home, that's different. I mean, but I don't. It's just a red flag to me. You know how I feel about it. I don't know why you're laughing at me. And so they start making out, right? And it's kind of grody. And he said he's going to see her at least 3 more times before he decides that they're going to actually date. And evidently, they didn't.
Yeah. Because I don't...
Spoiler.
yeah, I've already said that. Spoiler. Not a prediction.
Then we're back in Florida, and Ethan's making jalapeno poppers, and Mariah did not know what those were, for Olivia's birthday. Neither of them have talked to Olivia about the drama in Cairo for Joshua's birthday. Which, again, that's
why a black cloud hangs over all.
No communication ever. Mariah is still hurt and frustrated and sad about it, but she doesn't want to be the one to bring it up.
She would be the best one to bring it up.
You would think, being best friends.
Exactly, yeah. She'd be better to bring it up than Ethan.
And she's planning to go home to visit everyone soon. And it's weird that she's moved away to get away from everything, but she's glad that they shouldn't move any further away because she needs to be there and they need her.
Oh yeah, and she misses home. That's what happens when you move away from home. If you're like, if you loved where you lived, and you're a teenager, you don't care, you don't like where you live, and you move away for a year or so, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna want to go back, like Ethan.
Yes, like all of them now.
Micah, yep, same thing.
And Ethan said he will try to go with her to see all the kids, and he said that Dad is happier when all the kids are there. And then he makes steaks, and Nathan comes home, and they're trying to figure out a marinade steaks, right? Because none of them know how to cook.
Yeah.
And then Olivia comes home, and she said that before she comes in, she says part of her wants to talk about what happened with everybody, but she's not sure how or what the end result will be. And that's usually why people avoid things, because they're afraid of the outcome.
Yeah.
But Ethan had set the table, he lit the candles, had a bottle of wine. I thought it was very, very sweet.
Especially of what they've just been through at Cairo. I mean, they were arguing the whole time.
Yeah, and I don't think you've ever done that. I mean, you've made dinner plenty of times for the family. But I think anytime we have a special evening, we always go out.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it by making something. I mean, I can cook, but special things, we go out. We let somebody else screw it up.
Basic man cook, but that's about it.
We let somebody else screw it up. Yes.
Gotcha. The thing is, he had never cooked anything ever except for that one time in season 1 or maybe early season 2, I forget. Whenever he tried to make her pancakes. Oh, remember that?
That's funny.
That's the first time he ever cooked, and that was the last time he ever cooked until now.
She wasn't real happy either. I mean, she was kind of miserable that day. So that was probably.
Can you pick a day when she wasn't miserable?
That was actually worse than usual. I mean, at least this time she was smiling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
she was extra miserable that day. Yeah.
Pretty funny.
And then production asked if they had talked about the grave, everything that happened about the grave, and they said no. And Ethan said, "I don't know what was going on in your head and how you were feeling." And Olivia replied, Part of me knows I have things to work through and things to be held accountable for, but I can't explain my side of things and be understood. And so I want to deal with it, but I don't know how to address it. Now, that is a one sentence, okay? And let's break it down. She has things to work through.
Yeah.
And she has things to be held accountable for.
Yeah.
But she can't explain her side of things or be understood. And she wants to deal with it, but doesn't know how to address it. It's like she's trying to take accountability and make excuses all in the same sentence.
Yeah, she's being complicated.
And it's like, that's how she gets around the Plath kids. They're very well articulate. They're very well spoken. Again, I say it all the time. They're not dumb kids.
No.
But she talks circles around them with these double entendres and triple negatives. And like, she just talks circles around them.
Yeah.
And, I think she just wears them down.
Yeah, because what she's talking, the kids are like looking in circles.
Yeah, they're like trying to figure out what the hell.
By the time she's done, like, oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say, Olivia.
Yeah, we're on your side.
And then Ethan says that Olivia is being extra sweet during the dinner he made her.
Yeah.
But he'd rather she apologize for whatever, she's sorry for. That's sexier to him than trying to flirt or be sweet when you know what you did.
Yeah.
So, yes, he's still upset with her, but yet he still did this very sweet and kind thing for her birthday. So he put all that other stuff aside just to be kind to her.
I mean, and he knows what marriage is about.
Yes.
You can still be mad at your spouse, still be upset with your spouse, but when it's a birthday, it's something special.
Yes.
Or an anniversary.
And you don't punish a person by not giving them a special birthday or anniversary or holiday or whatever just because you had a fight.
I think Olivia would punish somebody because they want you.
That's what I was going to say, actually.
Yeah.
I just don't see her as being the kind and forgiving one unless you come to her and beg and plead to be forgiven.
Yeah.
And Olivia asks him if there's anything specific he wants to do in Jamaica for his birthday. And I was like, oh, cool, they're going to Jamaica? That's a really nice birthday gift. That's kind of like maybe an I'm sorry, like trying to make things a little bit better. Not that you can fix relationship issues with money. Do not get me wrong. And yes, every time they use vacations and going away and doing things as a way to escape their reality. And that's why she loves to do it so much.
For a photo shoot.
Well, that's why she loves to travel. Anytime she's away out on the road, she ain't got to deal with nothing. Because when you're on, quote, vacation, you don't talk about your relationship issues.
No.
But then when you get back home and reality is reality again, that's whenever she starts feeling trapped by her own nonsense, in my opinion.
No, you're right, yeah. But wasn't this Jamaica trip also a photo shoot?
Yeah, I was just getting ready for that. Ethan said that he's looking forward to snorkeling and sitting on the sand and drinking rum. That sounds like more of you vacation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The rum every now and then, yeah.
Yeah, and the snorkeling where you don't have to actually put your head underwater and you just look under.
No snorkeling.
No, I know you don't like the water.
Yeah, just up to my knees is fine.
Yeah.
Or waist. Waist is all right too.
And Olivia says that she has a wedding in Jamaica during Ethan's birthday. Her gift to him is bringing him along. I am 100% sure that production was like, okay, we can't have you gone for a week away from a shooting, Olivia. What are we going to do? And she's like, well, I guess, it's Ethan's birthday. He could come with me. Oh, well, we can't just have you and Ethan. What about Mike and Mariah?
We have to have everybody in it. Yeah.
So production is paying for that trip.
Yeah.
She's also getting paid from her client for that trip.
So it is not a
gift.
Birthday gift. No. It is a business trip.
So to me, I'm just like,
what gift? Whether production's behind it or not, it's still a business trip.
Yes, and allowing your quote unquote allowing. Why? I mean, you and I, if you were in the traveling business, we would be doing it together.
She hated it when anything goes with her travel.
It's crazy. I don't understand why they're even together. It makes me nuts.
Yeah.
And then Olivia said during their separation last year, she learned that communication is important. She just learned that.
Been married how long?
Right? She said, but she gets emotional easily and often. Again, duh.
Yeah.
Right? And Ethan doesn't know what to do with that. Again, duh. Like, she actually were new to this show, and
How many years have they been married at this point?
4,
4.
I think.
And you're just now realizing this stuff, right, Olivia?
Just during their separation, she figured out, hey, talking to my partner about what's going on is important. But here's the thing, you know it's important, but you still don't fucking do it.
I mean,
Not in a way that makes it safe for everybody to be open and honest and communicate their feelings.
see, but maybe their mom and dad's marriage didn't have the communication that a real marriage should have. Maybe that's why they are the way
That's
they are.
true. But again, Olivia claims that she's been in therapy for like 3 years now.
She's been there so long, she could become a therapist.
It's like, have you learned anything? Have you, is your therapist even have a license? Are you sure it's not me you're talking to? Like, I'm like a really good armchair therapist, but like I'm not really like licensed to do anything for you.
Like Dr. Phil?
Yeah, kind of like Dr. Phil. I was waiting for you to say something about it.
Or Meredith Grey?
Well,
I compare the two because they're both about the same as far as that goes.
he's not really a doctor.
Exactly. No, I think he's just an actor. I don't think he's a real doctor.
Oh,
I don't know that for a fact. I'm just assuming everybody.
hang on. Sorry, me and my Google searches, you guys, found out that he has a doctorate in clinical psychology, but has not renewed his license since 2006 to practice, so he cannot actually practice medicine.
So he's a half doctor.
Yeah, he's a doctor in name only.
Is he a witch doctor?
Maybe.
Sorry, everybody.
That's okay. We do that sometimes. You know how we are. I have to know things. And Olivia says she doesn't know how to communicate what she wants because she doesn't know what she wants. And I'm like, hot damn. For the first time in almost 5 years, you said something fucking honest.
I bet you she wants space.
I'm gonna puke. Every time I hear that word now, I'm just like, oh, my soul screams. And she said that taking a break from big emotions and heavy conversations to have fun, that's what the doctor ordered. That's always her answer. Let's just go on vacation.
But Dr. Phil ordered. It's not even a vacation if you're working.
Right? I'm just like, she just wants to escape. It's escapism.
Yeah.
It is a defense mechanism. That's going to always be her answer when things get tough. Is I'm going to escape. That means just leaving the state.
Leaving Tampa. I mean, living in Tampa is not far enough away, I guess.
No, it's because she's trying to escape herself, and you can never do that.
Yeah.
So until she learns to deal with that, she's always going to feel
No
trapped.
matter where you go, your shadow follows.
And so do you. And we found out that Barry had texted Olivia for her birthday, and sorry, couldn't remember writing. And Ethan told her he would seek him to get her side of things, and she doesn't have to feel great about it.
He's politicking Olivia.
Well, no, this was Ethan. Ethan told Olivia that he was going to go seek him to get her side of the separation
Didn't
thing.
you just say Barry wished Olivia happy birthday?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I thought you were talking about
Barry
Ethan.
is politicking.
Yeah, he's still campaigning.
Yeah, campaigning against for Olivia.
Yeah, our sympathy votes, hearts and minds, man. Who's got to be the favorite when the divorce comes.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly. And then Ethan and Olivia, he got her for her birthday a lady's motorcycle jacket. And I'm sorry, but she is not a motorcycle girl.
He did not look. I mean, she looked happy, but you could tell she wasn't happy with it.
Her reaction seemed very forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was overplaying just to make him happier.
And the cameras were there.
Yeah, so like I don't know what the sitch was, but she sure was gonna make sure that everybody knew how much she loved it.
Yeah.
It was very awkward. And then Mariah is on her way to Cairo with Ethan and to see, her dad and the kids, and he wants to ride with her up there and then ride his bike home.
Yeah.
His original bike. It's been almost 4 years since the fighting started with
The parents.
yeah, the parents and Ethan and Olivia. And Mariah tells Ethan that their mom is different now. And he he says that she did respect his personal boundaries more.
Yeah.
Like whenever they were at the farm for the whole thing, she did not push her way in and come anyway. She respected, all that. And when they're at the grave,
Yeah.
she didn't,
Even though
force herself.
she had more right to be there than Ethan and Olivia.
Yeah, she did not force herself on him.
Yeah.
So he says that, that is something different. And Kim doesn't know that he's coming to town. And so Mariah offers to text her and let her, and I'm like, that's a great offer. But she does it while she's driving.
Yeah, I know.
Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
Oh.
She's not a great driver to begin with.
No, and I'm like, oh, no, you didn't, girl.
Don't text and drive, everybody.
Mariah, come on, man. You need to set a good example for your younger brother and sisters and for all the kids in America right now who are watching.
All her fans. Yep.
Yes, please be a better role model and be safe. I don't care if you wear your seatbelt or not, girl. You need to keep your eyeballs and both hands on the road.
You need to wear a seatbelt, Mariah.
Yes, please wear your seatbelt and keep both hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. Just saying. That was my mom moment. Sorry about that.
A few years ago, but still, you gotta do it today too.
Sorry, I need my coffee for my throat. And then Kim calls Mariah. And Kim says she's happy to talk with him whenever, wherever he wants to, except a driveway. So she's like trying to let him know that she's over some of the issues. She's trying to
she was making wise.
lighten the issue.
Cracking wise. Yeah.
Oh, I love it when you say that. And Mariah was very excited for him and said it's been a really long time since they talked. And they've never talked one-on-one. How do you never talk one-on-one with your child?
Well, maybe she didn't after he was an adult.
Well, okay, Ethan's the oldest.
Yes.
And after that, very quickly came 9 more babies.
Yes.
Then they lost one, and that was a devastation. And then it was just a matter of getting through the day-to-day with 9 children.
I'm sure she's talking to him one-on-one as a kid. Maybe she's thinking about as an adult.
Yeah, and no, this is like Ethan, so that they've never had a one-on-one.
Maybe he doesn't remember or something, but I'm sure they've had at least one.
I would hope so. Except we know he talked about his wedding night.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. Try to teach him a lesson then.
So she drops him off at Punky's pool hall. It seems like the only place open during COVID right now.
Punky.
And he says he would like an apology, in my words, for all her past crimes. And Kim is on her way to meet him. She's excited and scared. She says she has no bitterness or resentment. She just wants to find understanding to move forward.
Yep.
That seems logical and responsible and not at all outlandish to me.
No. She's done nothing wrong there.
And she said she thought it would take a miracle, but it might be happening. And she said emotionally she doesn't want to get her hopes up. As a parent who's had a kid kind of break your heart, I get that too. Once that trust is broken, even from a mother to a child, there still has to be repaired.
Kids always break their parents' hearts one time or another, and vice versa.
Yeah, but as an adult, it feels different, especially when they treat you like you were a shit parent and you weren't.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a trust there that gets broken, and that parent-child bond.
Yeah.
And it has to be repaired over time. And Ethan starts out with, "What have you been up to?" Just you can tell he is not a social creature.
No.
But he's so cute, and he's trying. You can tell he's nervous.
At least he didn't say, "How about that weather today?"
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness. And Kim says, "Everything, a lot." Which, let's be real, is fact.
Yeah.
And all of this, Ethan says in his interview, because how they like to bounce around between their talking head interviews and then the actual action. And he says, "My guard is up and I don't know what I feel," which is kind of typical for him, in my opinion. He goes, "By that, it doesn't feel anything. Probably a coping mechanism. There's friction between Ethan and Olivia versus Barry and Kim, and it made him feel that anytime he felt something, especially good, it eventually hurt him."
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting thing to think about from his point of view. He feels like anytime something good happens in his life, something bad's going to happen. And it's always going to happen because the person they're with is seeking out that negativity.
And that'd be Olivia.
And he doesn't see that.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part. So Kim says, thanks for meeting me. And he's like, I figured we should talk. He figured he should talk to her because they're probably getting divorced. And he talked to Dad. It's been a long time since we talked. And the whole time he's talking to her, he's looking down and to the left. I don't think he's looked at her face since she walked up and sat down.
Yeah.
It's like he's
keeping his guard up.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Big time.
For whatever reason. Like his mom's gonna pull a knife on him or something,
Like he's like that's a timid reaction. You know how like when dogs are intimidated by someone, they'll like look down and put their head down to like submit to know. And it's almost like that kind of situation. And she's just sitting there like, hi.
Yeah.
Like, how are you? And so it's a really strange dynamic there.
She asked about Olivia too?
Well, hang on.
I think she asked about Olivia before that.
But he says, first and foremost, I want to know why you're divorcing Dad. What happened? And she's like, a couple of months ago, I realized I'm not happy in the marriage and I don't feel valued. And in her interview, she said she's feeling on edge because there's a lot at stake.
Yeah.
Meeting Ethan, and she wants to be really careful with what she says and how she says it. And the last thing she wants to do is to push him further away.
Yeah.
Totally all valid things that I would probably be thinking as a parent. But she says to him, she's been so busy raising children, just whatever, just life, different things. And you know how she is. She's vague on purpose because with Ethan, less is more.
Yeah.
And she knows that.
Yes.
If you give him too many details, he gets overwhelmed and just kind of shuts down. She said, there's at a point where I need to do what I need to do for me. I could have stayed for another 10 years for Mercy's sake, but I just can't.
And I don't think it would have been good for Mercy.
No.
Not for any of them.
Because you need to be around parents who teach you how to have healthy relationships, who are happy. And if they see parents who are miserable or disconnected from each other, that's what they're going to think is normal for their relationships. And that's not okay.
And I think what Kim's doing is actually a good thing for the kids, right? Because, like you said, you don't want unhappy parents being around your kids. That'll be unhealthy to the kids. You also want to show your kids that even if you're unhappy, you can find happiness.
Exactly.
So, I mean, some people probably disagree with that. They should be saying Kim should stay with Barry just for the kids. No, nobody does that anymore.
Well, the reason I left, even it was like the late 90s where you still were like, especially in small towns where you stayed for the kids. I left for my kids.
Yeah.
I did not want them to see parents screaming and arguing at each other all the time. That is that's a bad environment for anyone to be in, especially small children. But they grow up and think that that's an appropriate way to have a relationship, and it's not okay. And I was like, this is not what I want my children to grow up and emulate. And so I made a plan to leave, and I did. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, man. And so in Ethan's interview, he said he understands that sometimes people just go their separate ways and they stop feeling things for other people. Sometimes it isn't mutual. And he says, I definitely feel a pang of resentment when I see things that don't add up with my mom, things she taught us to do that she doesn't do.
Yeah.
And
that happens, Ethan. That happens.
Well, it's like, obviously, when they preach, be together forever, because that is what the Bible teaches us. And so obviously, if you're a Christian and you want to live a good life, that's what you try to emulate. But it doesn't always work out that way.
But I hate to tell Ethan, all right, or anybody else listening out there, even in the churches, it's not always that way. They preach it, but they don't practice it.
Sometimes, absolutely.
I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some, yes. I don't ever say always and never. Yeah.
Well, this is the part that I thought was kind of, I don't know, it's weird. Ethan says, you have to do something to make yourself happy, but looking back in your own words, have you thought about how we were raised and what you'd do differently? And she said, things are different now. We still don't have soda in the house. Some things are different. Some things are the same.
Yeah.
And he's like, if we were being honest with each other, sugar and soda never was the issue. The issues I've always had have been with schooling, dating, and the right and wrong way to go about that. And she was like, yeah. And he said, in some ways, you are very relaxed as far as the amount of effort you put into schooling kids. I felt that way since I was 13. I felt behind in life. I couldn't compete with people that were in my age group academically. And she said, my part and my intention has always been to find what that child is passionate about and help them in that. And she has done that with all of her children, you know, whether it be academically, whether it be musically, whether it be helping them buy cows and giving them a place to raise it for their, start their future, helping them, letting them have the airplane simulation thing, and buying an airplane.
I think they taught them the stuff that you need to learn for your everyday life.
Yes.
Right? You don't need to learn science for everyday life. Now, I'm not saying you should not learn science, because you should.
Yes.
Okay? Or history. You don't need to learn history for your everyday life, but you still need to learn history.
Yes.
Okay? But what she did is she got them prepared for everyday. Like, Lydia is better off being homeschooled than she would be if she was in other school.
That's her personality. Yes.
I think Mariah would have been better off in public school.
I don't think she would have gotten any better of an education, but I think she just would have been happier socially.
Yeah. And I think same thing with Micah. I think he would have been better off in public school too. All right.
Again, the same reason. I don't think he would have done better academically.
Now, Ethan, I'm not sure what Ethan would do. I'm not sure if he would be better in public or what he's getting now. I think what they did with him when he's as a kid, as far as homeschool, I think helped him as far as the cars.
Yeah.
As far as everyday stuff. If our car breaks down, sorry, babe, I got to take it to the garage. Okay.
Right.
I can't fix it. I'm not like Ethan. I can't fix cars.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I should have learned in public school. But I mean, they did the right thing there. I mean,
I don't even think they have auto shop anymore.
Well, they did when I went to school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you should have taken it, big dummy. My goodness.
I should.
Now I'm mad at you. Why didn't you take it?
I was on the sports. Didn't care about it.
Oh my goodness. So, in her interview, Kim said that Ethan was passionate about cars, and the older kids can corroborate that he didn't want to sit in front of a computer, and he hated sitting in front of computers. She feels like she set him up for success and what he's passionate about.
Yeah.
And I would kind of agree with that. Even though you know me in education, I firmly push it. I think it's one of the most important things you can give your kids. But I'm going to be real. I was a straight A student. Most of the stuff that I've learned, that I know I've learned since I graduated high school. I read a lot. If I don't know, you know me, I'll stop in the middle of something and I'll Google it.
Yeah.
Because I got to know stuff.
You couldn't do that back in the day.
No, but as an adult, so I'm saying I learned more about history and science and politics, okay, how the world works as an adult on my own than I ever learned in high school. So, I mean, especially it's six in one hand, half a dozen in the other about what kind of education you get.
Even now, high school doesn't teach nothing now. Not anymore.
Again, yeah. So, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other about what kind of education they're going to get.
I think this day and age, being homeschooled probably be better than going to public school.
And now they teach the test, and so all those kids' special talents may not have ever come to light.
Yeah.
You know? So who knows? I personally think shit happens for a reason. It's meant to make you who you're meant to be, and you just gotta learn through the journey and whatever your path is. That's my firm belief.
Yeah.
So anyway, Kidman says, I don't know if you remember, but getting you to do anything in a book was like pulling your toenails out. You just wanted to be out in the barn building. He says, yeah, but I was a kid. As a parent, that's your responsibility. And he said, she's like, I know. And he said, when I have kids someday, they're going to hate schoolwork. You did a lot of things right raising us, but in schooling, you fell really short. And she says, I am sorry. I tried.
That's a half compliment.
And he says, I don't know, because I feel like you didn't try.
Mm.
And in her interview, she says, as much as I tried to correct everything where my mom fell short, I poured my life into the children and raising them and doing everything I can for them. To have them turn around and say they don't think I even tried is crushing. And she looked at this point just sad and defeated. Like, she had aged.
She gave up her whole life, basically.
And she said it's mind-blowing they could even think that because that's what I did for 20 years. But to him, she said, I should have done better somehow with you older children with the schooling thing. The dating thing, I don't know. And he says, I'm talking about you and Dad teaching us that you don't start dating someone if you're not going to marry them. And in his interview, he said, dating and sex before marriage was a sin and wrong, which made you impure and you're going to hell. And Kim said that her understanding is that you look for red flags before and during dating to see if they're the one or not. But I don't know if we ever communicated that to you. Maybe we didn't. But you were pretty hard, head over heels for Olivia, and I don't know anything we might have said that would have changed your mind. And he said, yep. And she said, not that we would have, it's your decision. But had we said, slow down or rethink this, there's no way.
Yeah.
And he's like, not that. I'm saying the environment that we grew up in bred somebody that would go straight to the first person that you had a mutual interest in or had a mutual feeling for. And it was never taught to any of us that there was another way. And in his interview, he said he's basically calling her a hypocrite, which is fair, you know.
Especially now.
He said it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
And he said, do you wish you had done anything different? Even with me and Olivia having issues with you and Dad. Going straight to you, can't see the kids anymore. Any remorse? And I'm thinking, she didn't say you couldn't see the kids anymore.
No.
She said you guys had to have some sort of a cordial relationship with them so that they would know that you wouldn't go into shit talking to their very young children behind their back.
Well, plus she wanted
That's all they wanted.
She wanted her and Barry to be there. She didn't want them.
At first.
Yeah.
Not all the time. She said, at first, let's build some trust. And they refused.
I don't understand about the build the trust thing with your kids.
Well, anyway, go back and listen to the episodes we did about those. Maybe you'll understand it.
I still don't understand it. Anyway.
Hang on, buddy's wheezing. Okay. And then Kim says, it's hard to say what I would have done differently in terms of teaching you about relationships and stuff. But yeah, I'd have done something different. I don't know what. As far as how things went with all of us, I feel really bad about it. But I've never been in a situation like that before where there was so much conflict. I know I did things that hurt you, and I want you to know that that was never my intention. I never set out to hurt either one of you, but I know there were things that did hurt you, and for that, I'm sorry. And he said, yeah.
See, she apologized.
Straight up.
Yep.
She said she did wrong, and that she knew that there were things that she did wrong with his upbringing, and that, that's why she's trying to change for the kids.
And all he could give was a yeah.
And in his interview, Ethan said he doesn't like these types of conversations, but he's definitely glad it happened. He said, I don't know if it's a fresh start, but it's definitely the best conversation I've had with my mom. As far as her actually hearing what I was saying, it was definitely a good thing. There have been many times when I really feel like I have nothing but hate for my mom because she can really, really push all my buttons. And sometimes I just don't understand why she is the way she is. Overall, she is my mom, and I do love her. Aw, I was like, good boy, Ethan. I'm like, good job. You just wake up to the reality of the situation, and everybody be so much happier.
Kick Olivia to the curb.
And he tells his mom, I don't know what my relationship is going to look like with you in the future, In the meantime, in the next year, the next couple years, whatever, I just want to be able to have an amicable relationship, just to tolerate each other. And she said, see, you do know some big words. Ha, ha. See, he's trying to lighten because he's just the jokey one.
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
He did smile and smirk at a couple things.
Yeah. And she said, I'm trying to avoid drama too, and trying not to create any more than we have just as a part of life. And he's like, I just really, really don't want any of my time going forward put into that. I completely agree. That's why I don't talk to my mother.
Yeah.
The drama and the nonsense and the negativity and just it's toxic, and it's not. You saw what it did to me, and it is just not good. And in her interview, Kim said, overall, I'm happy with the conversation with Ethan and I today. There was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things that were hard to hear, but it's okay. There's not a hatred there. I just want to get to the point eventually where we're friends and we can talk about whatever. The bottom line is he talked to me. That is priceless. And so she thanks him for meeting him. And he says, I'm going to give Mariah a call, see where she's at, have her come pick me up. Thanks for talking with me. I guess I'll see you next time. And I was like, that left the door open. And that made me very happy. And that was the end of season 4, episode 12. Left the episode on a happier note because there was no Olivia in it.
Yeah.
And things were much calmer and were reasonable and rational. And I'm so sorry that this one went a little long, you guys, or a lot long, but we do not like part 2s. I hate doing that to people. Oh, come back, search all of our videos for the next part of this thing that you actually want to hear the conclusion of.
Yeah, you get the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if you guys would prefer them in 2 parts. Let me know. Maybe that's the thing that people really rather want. I don't know, but that's not my thing. But anyway, you guys, be safe out there. Until next time, please use your turn signals.
Subscribe.
Please wear your seatbelt.
Subscribe. Don't text and drive.
Yeah, do not text and drive, y'all. Did I say wear your seatbelt?
Yes.
Did I say use your turn signal?
Yes. Go Phillies.
My mind went blank. What did I say? Is it just be kind next?
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.